I wasn't supposed to live. Not after what we did. Not after what I saw. Sometimes I wonder if I really did live, or if I've just been rotting in some cage, still folding those paper cranes, waiting for a day that never comes. Back then, I was 17, already branded the mad dog of Komai. 5th generation leader of Tokyo Komai, they called me. Leader? Don't make me laugh. I was just another punk, locked up in a central juvenile detention facility, pretending my fists made me a king. Every night, I swore I'd never change. Even locked in solitary, I couldn't sit still. They shoved me into that small room, said it'd teach me discipline. But all it did was make me fold paper cranes until my fingers bled. 1,000, then another. My anger didn't disappear, it sharpened. Every crease in that paper felt like another scar across my head. 6 months passed before the gates opened. The air outside felt wrong. The gatekeeper looked at me with pity, maybe disgust. He told me not to come back. Like words could stop me. Like I hadn't already carved trouble into my skin. The first thing I saw out there? 2 teenagers, laughing, pointing at me, calling me stupid for coming out just to go back in. They thought I'd walk away. They thought wrong. Rage boiled up. And just like that, 3 months later, I was back behind bars. Same gatekeeper, same warning, same cycle. When they finally let me out again, the world felt smaller. I was shoved into a probation program, handed over to guardians like a child. Uncle Kim and Mrs. Kim, they weren't blood, but they agreed to keep me from drowning. Uncle Kim owned a yakiniku restaurant. Ishido, the head of juvenile crime supervision, his eyes were sharp, like he already saw the next time I'd screw up. He gave me rules: no Komai gang, no motorcycles, stay humble. If he heard I raised my fists again, he'd throw me back inside. I nodded. My heart didn't. That's when I saw it. A Kawasaki FX, shining like temptation itself, parked outside a convenience store. I touched it without thinking, my fingers itching for ownership. Then its owner showed up. Abe. He didn't like me touching his bike. His anger sparked mine. The old itch to fight clawed at me again. But then I remembered Uncle Kim's face, the way he offered me shelter when nobody else would. So I told Abe, let's settle this where no one's watching. He grinned, surprised. Thought I was bluffing. He even offered a bet. If I beat him, I'd get his cigarettes. My pulse thumped hard. The fight was quick, rough, sweaty. My heels dug into the dirt. My palms slammed his chest, and he stumbled back. Victory. My prize, cigarettes, handed over with a mix of annoyance and respect. That's when Abe told me who he was, vice chairman of the Kilihito gang. He made me swear to keep his loss quiet, said the balance of power in the city depended on it. I told him who I was, Komai's mad dog, out on probation, working yakiniku. Maybe I should have shut my mouth, but pride always speaks before reason. Abe started talking about his gang. Kilihito had about 100 members. Their leader, Tanzawa, was the strongest. Even Abe said he'd struggle against himself. Taguchi, Suya, Keiji, Kigo, and 2 new bloods, Shogo and Ryu, both tough as nails. Hearing it lit something in me. Tough men, fighters, a city full of people like me. But probation chained me down. I wasn't free to test myself, not yet. Abe didn't believe me, thought I was bluffing, hiding behind excuses. He didn't see the storm inside me. Next day, he showed up at Uncle Kim's restaurant. Said he just happened to stop by. We sat, talked, the TV blaring news of a car accident. Illegal drugs were found in the wreck. Abe muttered, Bakurakan, another gang, younger, dirtier. Dealers feeding poison to the city. That was my first taste of the bigger war. Bakurakan, The name tasted like rot. Everyone knew they were peddling drugs, turning kids into addicts, using violence like pocket change. But they weren't the only ones. This city was a map of scars, carved up by gangs. Abe dragged me deeper. He invited me to meet his crew, the Kilihito gang. Said they were family, strong, not to be messed with. I followed him to a bowling alley one night, groceries for Uncle Kim still heavy in my arms. Inside, the air was thick with cigarette smoke and bravado. The Kilihito members eyed me like a stray dog. Too weak, too soft, they sneered. Their words scraped at me, my fists begging for release. Then he came, Tanzawa, their leader. His presence filled the room like a storm cloud. He introduced himself, calm but sharp, testing me with every glance. Something inside me snapped. Probation, Ishido's warnings, Uncle Kim's kindness. I forgot it all. I wanted to fight him. But before anything could explode, she stepped in. Chihiro, a girl, younger than me, but with eyes sharper than knives. But the Kilihito bowed to her presence. Even Tanzawa softened when she spoke. She told us to stop. Who was she to get in the way? I barked back at her, said it wasn't her business. She didn't flinch. She said she hated gangsters, said if we wanted to fight, she'd call the police. For the first time in a long time, I backed down. Not because of her words, but because I saw the bars of detention waiting for me if I swung. Abe explained. Chihiro wasn't just some worker. She was Jasuke's sister, Jasuke, the fifth-generation leader of Kilihito. The man who died in that massive war between the four great gangs, Kilihito, Goro, Ashura, Ishido. A war so brutal they'd signed a non-aggression pact afterward. 6 months after her brother died, she started working at the bowling alley, determined to stop violence from festering in her city. The gang might have claimed the place as their hangout, but Chihiro's presence made them listen. Even Tanzawa bent to her will. If anything happened to her, Abe said, Kilihito would burn the pact to ash. I didn't say anything, but something about her words stuck in me. Maybe it was the way she looked at me, not as a gangster or fighter, but as a human already half broken. Later, I found myself sitting with Shogo and Keiji, Abe's men. They spoke of Bakurakan, voices hard with tension. The gang was swelling in numbers, vicious in tactics. They told me about the brothers who ran it. Kenzo, the youngest, swinging a chain-linked wrench like it was part of his arm. Koji, the middle one, a mountain of muscle who moved like a predator. And Kazumasa, the oldest, the mind, the hunger, the rot. He wanted it all. Drugs, money laundering, sex tapes, total control. People whispered he'd already killed over drugs once, and I believed it. Shogo's words lit a fire in me. These weren't just punks, they were disease. But I bit my tongue. Probation still hung over me like a leash. Soon after, Kilihito gathered at the bowling alley to discuss what was coming. Bakurakan was attacking their younger members, swelling in numbers, tightening the noose. Tanzawa knew striking back too early would only end in blood. He wanted to wait. That night, I stumbled onto Chihiro again, kneeling at a street corner shrine. Flowers in her hands, tears she tried to hide. She told me it was Jasuke's birthday. She never gave him flowers when he was alive, and now it was too late. She said she hated the way people died in this city, for gangs, for pride, for nothing. Her words cracked something in me. She said even if someone like me died, people would mourn. That shook me more than any punch ever had. The next day, everything boiled over. Bakurakan came storming into the bowling alley. Their leader, Kazumasa, walked in like he owned the floor. Chihiro stepped up, tried to stop them. Then Kazumasa slapped her across the face. Rage swallowed me whole. I surged forward, and pain exploded in my skull. Kenzo's chain-linked wrench cracked down on me, blood running into my eyes. My fists clenched, ready to break him, but Chihiro's voice echoed in my head. No more violence. Not here. Not now. So I stood, teeth gritted, blood dripping, and didn't swing back. Tanzawa demanded answers. Kazumasa smirked, said he didn't care about wars or pacts, only profit. Drugs, money, power. With Kilihito still standing, he couldn't rule freely. Tanzawa's jaw tightened. He promised that when the time came, Kilihito would erase Bakurakan. The war drums were beating. Uncle Kim wasn't just a guardian. He was a man who lived life with his hands in the fire and his heart in the kitchen. You've got faults, he told me, but I believe in you. Protect what matters, Eguchi. Those words sank deeper than I expected. Protect what matters. One afternoon, Tanzawa himself came to the restaurant. Mrs. Kim greeted him like a friend, offering free meat, smiling like he was just another customer. But Tanzawa wasn't built for casual. Some customers mouthed off, loud and cocky, insulting him and me both. Before I could move, Mrs. Kim stepped in with grace, smoothing things over. I swallowed my rage like medicine. Tanzawa didn't. He left without a word. And outside, I heard fists crack bones. Later that night, Tanzawa rode his motorcycle up beside me, invited me for a ride by the sea. But Tanzawa wasn't making small talk. Join Kilihito. Bakurakans already got their eyes on you. They'll come for you, Eguchi. With us, you won't be alone. I didn't answer. Meanwhile, in Bakurakan's lair, Kazumasa was sharpening his blades. He wasn't content with intimidation anymore. He wanted Kilihito crushed, piece by piece. Plans were drawn, targets assigned. Tanzawa, Taguchi, Suya, Keiji, Kigo. Every leader marked for destruction. One night, Kilihito gathered at Uncle Kim's restaurant, laughing, eating, breathing like a family. Abe pulled me aside, his face tight with worry. He told me to stay clear of Bakurakan, begged me not to get tangled again. You'll end up back in juvenile detention, he said. Mrs. Kim doesn't deserve that. I wanted to listen, but rage had been simmering since Kenzo's wrench split my scalp. I told Abe I couldn't just stand down. He pressed me harder, and I snapped. My hands shoved, too strong, too fast. Abe tripped, crashing near a flower pot, his shoulder twisting at a sick angle. Chihiro saw us from across the street, confusion in her eyes. Later, she caught me alone, asked me what happened. I told her straight. Abe hit me once, I hit him once. Nothing more. I couldn't afford lies. She listened, her anger softening into surprise. She admitted she hadn't known I'd just come out of juvenile detention. She also said Abe cared about me, more than he showed. That's what made what happened next so much worse. Because Bakurakan struck. Kenzo and his crew ambushed Abe and Shogo in the street. At the same time, Koji led another assault straight toward Uncle Kim's restaurant. And Kazumasa himself went hunting the other Kilihito leaders. It wasn't a fight. It was an execution. I got the call from Chihiro. Her voice shook, telling me Kilihito had been torn apart, men bleeding out, bodies filling hospital beds, 2 stitches on his head, ribs fractured, arm broken. Abe. God, Abe was worse. 2 ribs shattered, his leg broken, his body carved with wounds. Ishido showed up with his men, sniffing for arrests. Tanzawa made it clear, Eguchi isn't Kilihito. He's just a friend. The cops hauled away Kilihito's leaders anyway, except Keiji. I was left standing in that hospital room, Abe pale and silent beside me. Then the unthinkable, Chihiro was taken. A car screeched outside, Bakurakan thugs dragging her off. They told Keiji if Kilihito wanted her back, they'd have to come to the old factory in Hayama. Word spread fast. The next morning, Kilihito leaders were released. Outside the yakiniku, Kigo cornered Ryu, demanding the truth. And Ryu broke. He confessed everything. The phone calls, the secrets, the way Bakurakan squeezed him by threatening to drag Megumi into drugs, into exploitation. His betrayal spilled out in tears. Tanzawa's fury burned hot, but he held back. He told Ryu to cut ties, no more weakness. At the same moment, Suya got a call from Keiji. Chihiro was kidnapped. Tanzawa wanted to go alone, to face Bakurakan himself. But Taguchi stopped him. Kilihito isn't just friends, he said. We're family. What none of us knew was that Ishido was watching, waiting. He wanted this clash. Let the gangs rip each other open, and the police would swoop in, netting them all. He thought he was playing God. Keiji came rushing to the restaurant, breathless. They've got Chihiro, he said. The old factory in Hayama. I didn't hesitate. We gathered. Me, Keiji, Kilihito, and rode out. The factory loomed in the dark, rusted walls hiding shadows full of knives. Bakurakan poured out like wolves. And the fight was instant. Then, salvation in the strangest form. Ryu. He came in a car, slamming it into place to block the factory doors. Tanzawa grabbed my shoulder, eyes locked. "You get Chihiro," he ordered. "I'll deal with Kazumasa." I nodded, fists burning. I heard roars, Tanzawa and Kazumasa. The scene was hell.
Tanzawa!
I had just finished my own business with Kenzo when Tanzawa arrived. He looked exhausted. He found me trying to get to Chihiro. She was still tied up, the shift in the air, the creak of movement. It was Kazumasa. He was supposed to be finished, down for good, but he dragged himself up, spitting blood. But then, Kenzo stepped in. Kenzo, the man I just beat. He moved in front of Kazumasa, not to fight, but to stop it. Then the sirens. A rising, unmistakable whine from the street below. The cops. Kenzo didn't hesitate. He yelled at us to move, to use the emergency stairs at the back of the building. He was insistent, and he swore he would take the fall. We took the chance he gave us and ran. I don't know exactly what he told them, but later, word came back. Kenzo met with Ishido. He said the entire mess, the bloodshed, the chaos, it was all an internal problem. No other gangs were involved. He made a clean path for us to walk away. I didn't see the end of it, but I heard the shouts. The celebration. Abe woke up from his coma. That was the true victory. That's all that matters. I survived. We survived. Victory comes with a receipt, and I think I'll be paying for this one for a long time.